I just want everybody to know, thanks to Craig for pointing this out, that was the Coyotes' 24th loss of 2024.
Is that good?
24 losses in 30 games for a record
31 games.
Of 31 games for a record of 7-21 and 3.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes Postgame Show. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Petey, Craig, Danielle, Raz.
Raz is over here. Might bring him in again.
Okay, it was a 4-1 loss. It was really like a 2-1 loss.
It was a 2-1 loss. The 4-1 score does not tell the story of this game, Petey. I don't know if you agree.
I don't know. I thought it could have been 6-1. I don't know where we got this idea that the two I don't know. The Coyotes had 5 shots on goal in the first period. They had no real scoring chances. I never saw them take any pucks to the net. I mean, Fleury had a couple nice saves. Maybe three difficult saves, maybe. Yeah, the Coyotes didn't have any push today. The Minnesota Wild needed this win, and they showed it, and they played like it. And a 2-1 score. I know it's 4-1, 2 empty netters, but it wasn't a 2-1. But Vejmelka was good. Vejmelka was really good.
How many high danger chances, and I know this is just area, how many high danger chances did the Coyotes have in this game, Petey?
I don't know what he got for me, Craig.
No, the same number you guessed earlier in the game. Yes.
It was 3.
It was 3.
So you jokingly saying, oh, Marc-Andre Fleury probably maybe made
3.
Well, those are just the chances. Those doesn't even necessarily mean on net. How many high danger saves do you think Marc-Andre Fleury made in this game?
If there are 3.
One.
One?
One.
Yeah. Does it say,
chances are just...
What does it say for Veggie for high danger? Can you find that, or is that a harder thing?
No.
So I guess the point is, this is a team that needed to win, and they played like it. And I still think Minnesota's out of the playoffs looking in, but they're you got to believe in their room because that's what you do until that's mathematically impossible. Is it mathematically? Are the Coyotes out mathematically?
I don't think
someone asked us when that would happen, and I was like, "You're relying on me to do math."
I don't think they've been officially.
I don't think they've been officially eliminated yet either.
No, because
the Blackhawks
Chicago
were just eliminated.
was.
Yeah.
So they're not official, but I think they're not making the playoffs in the Coyotes.
Good guess.
Yeah,
good point by you.
Great analysis.
They shuffled the lines again. They put Bjugstad with Schmaltz and Keller to see if that sparked them. Hayton's out, so you got to put somebody in there. They've already tried McBain. They've already tried Kerfoot. They've already tried Cooley, so let's try Bjugstad up there. I mean, I don't know. What did those two end up with shots on goal for those two guys? Schmaltz had 2, Keller had 5.
Okay.
So maybe it's a start. Maybe. I honestly don't know. I don't expect Hayton to be out long. I think that we're saying day to day.
Yeah.
So there's a chance he's back and ready to play by the next game in Detroit. And then I would assume he'd jump back right in between those guys. And it's not the same without Bjugstad, Krause, and Michelli together. So I would think we'd see that back.
You know, it's funny, too, that when you look at, you mentioned how Minnesota had to play desperate tonight. And, I mean, I guess they did defensively. I wasn't overly impressed with Minnesota offensively.
But are you ever?
No, they're just a dull team that I hope never to watch.
Yeah.
If I can avoid it.
It's just like Pete Blackburn said, and now I get it.
Yeah.
I get why.
It's true.
I was giving them a free pass, but they're boring.
Yeah.
And this is exciting compared to the way they used to play.
If we handed out awards for the past decade for the most boring team to watch, it would be the Minnesota Wild. I would
them
choose.
over the Islanders.
Yeah, even over the Islanders.
Yeah,
at least I can watch Matt Barzal.
Fun with
of course, they've got Kaprizov now. But the point I was making is Minnesota's desperate. Guess who else is desperate? The next two teams that they're facing. Detroit's in the fight of its life for a playoff spot. New Jersey's trying to get back in this by, acquiring goaltenders well after they needed them. So, yeah, they're facing desperate teams. So the rest of this road trip, buckle up.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think it's funny. You mentioned all 3 of those teams, Minnesota, Detroit, and New Jersey. I think all 3 of them missed the playoffs. But
is there a conference going on here at PHNX?
Yeah, there's a lot of sound back there.
Yeah, but I think that those are 3 teams that are going to be out of the playoffs, but they still believe that they're in.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the Jersey thing, that they get goalies now. Like, I watched one of the guys, Cochran, play yesterday. was really good.
Yeah.
Really good. If they do that 2 months ago, are they in? Anyway, that's neither here
That
nor there.
was-
But that's who they play when they come back here?
When you hear the talk, first he's a free agent at the end of the season. You hear the talk, they're like, oh, it'll probably be Jake Allen that stays, and they'll go after a number one. Like, why'd you get him?
Crazy.
Did you really get him thinking, oh yeah, we'll go on a run with 20 games left and get in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think Detroit's interesting though because they've lost 6 straight. They have to win.
Yeah,
and
Dylan Larkin's out another week at least.
So the Coyotes are up against teams that need to win. Do the Coyotes need to win for any reason at all?
No.
No.
Do you
In
think
fact, they need to lose.
Do you think they look like a team that really wants to win?
Not really.
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
I don't think so either. And I'll say that I know Keller had 5 shots, but maybe a little bit of burst in the first period, maybe a little look on the power play, but I didn't see much from him. Schmaltz, Cooley, Gunther. I mean, not like we've seen over the last few games.
How quickly after breakup day do players typically go on vacation?
Within 12 hours.
Okay, so chances are they already have their plans.
Yeah.
Okay,
It depends. It's funny that you say that because getaway date, like a lot of times, if you end the season on a Saturday, the players want to have their exit meetings and medicals on Sunday so they can get the hell out of there. And there's a lot of coaches that I've worked with that push that to Monday is kind of a little.
Yeah,
Okay,
happened
yeah?
last year. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do it on Monday. You want to leave Sunday? I think we'll leave Monday. So we'll have our meetings Monday. And guys are grumbling about it. It's been done. So we'll see what they do this year.
I want to read Robert's comment. He said, do something different. Pull everyone but the goalie. Just shake it up. Why not, Robert? And Chad said, Coyotes meh, part 2. Yeah, Coyotes meh, this game
Oofta.
meh, the last few. Yeah, oofta, which is the thumbnail of this show tonight. PD, what is oofta?
Yeah, and Danielle can give us a little magic behind the Mac. We tell what oofta means. It's an exclamation that expresses pain, stress, or exhaustion to someone from a Scandinavian country where a lot of Minnesotans are from. Thus the term oofta. And as my example there, I had to shovel 2 feet of snow. Oofta. Yeah, oofta.
How did
My dad said it every day I came home.
How did Bob Peters say it? How did it come out?
Yeah, Dad, how was work today? Oh, oofta. It'd be that, and he'd sink into the chair.
There it is.
And people thought I was kidding. He said it every day of his
That's
life.
awesome.
Oofta.
All right.
I think I said it at his funeral.
Well, oofta. Let's take a look at the numbers.
They're not any better, are they?
Presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. We'll take a look. Shots on goal. Minnesota outshot the Coyotes 31-22. Coyotes 0 for 2 on the power play. The Wild were 1 for 4. That feels like the same old. Face-offs. Minnesota, 64% of the face-offs. Coyotes had 36%. And then shot attempts. Minnesota had 71. The Coyotes had 45.
Yeah, almost doubled up on shot attempts. They had the puck more often, clearly, when you look at those stats. I don't know. I don't know how much you can dwell on it. Minnesota's players were better. They had the puck more often. They had more shot attempts. Vejmelka was the better player for the Coyotes.
How many games left? 16 now?
Is it 16?
16.
16 more of these left.
Okay.
And I hope we get some wins here. It gets frustrating to do and it's the same show. Like, if they're fighting it out tooth and nail and they give up 2 empty netters, you go, oh, there was a lot of fight from those boys today.
Well, I mixed it up because I'm sitting with 2 pillows tonight.
I'm glad
I'm a little more upright. I needed the extra support after covering the Coyotes for 24 years. So
not gonna lie with that. Do you know the Coyotes do not have a power play goal on this road trip now? In Chicago, in Minnesota, 0-4-4.
Wait,
now.
Craig, so the Coyotes have a loss in 2024 for every year you've covered the team?
there you go.
Wow.
Ouch.
Oy, oy, oy.
And we're getting to that wildly. We're going to get to that.
Yeah, we're going to get to the too many men. We're going to get to McBain.
Oh, yeah.
But first, let's do a positive. I do think Karel Vejmelka was excellent
Give him
in
his
this
flowers.
game. This is coming off a game that Connor Ingram didn't have his best performance. Karel Vejmelka, he did everything he needed to do tonight. He was really good. And for that reason, he was our dog in him. Desert Dog. Karel Vejmelka has a Desert Dog in him. 21 saves, 917 save percentage, or actually it ended up being 931.
Did it? They changed it?
They did change it. 931 save
there you go.
percentage.
Danielle, I'll never give you the stats again. I'm over 1.
It's not Danielle's fault. It was Craig's fault. But yeah, great game for Veggie. Honestly, he did exactly what he needed to do. It was just the team in front of him didn't. So there you go.
There you go.
Anyone else?
Nope.
I don't know. Yeah, he was good. He made some good saves.
Thanks.
No, he did. Yeah. And lucky this game was 2-1 by with 3 minutes left in the game, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sincerely.
Yeah.
Like, I know he got bowled over on the one and clearly should have been called off. While Terry drives through the crease and clearly should have been called off. But they had some really good looks. Some that they chose to pass up their shots.
Marcus Johansson from the hash marks.
I think you got to shoot that
look for a
puck.
better shot.
But I thought they controlled the play. I don't know if I ever really felt like the Coyotes were pushing in this one.
Nope.
Well, Nick Bjugstad, he is absolutely a lock every time the Coyotes play in Minnesota to score a goal. He scores his 16th of the season. He's been on a heater, 3 goals in his last 4 games. He's been great since his third daughter, Cielo, was born. So congrats to Nick Bjugstad on scoring his 16th of the season. So there's another
and it's funny that
positive.
Luckily I bet on that because, of course, he
going home.
Yeah. He goes home, and I mean, Cooley didn't, but I also bet on that. But it's Bjugstad. The one thing about Nick Bjugstad I'll always say, he's not the fastest Coyote. He isn't. He's not the most skilled Coyote. But you know exactly what we're going to get on Nick Bjugstad, and I think he plays most consistently of anybody on that roster. That you're going to get a 200-foot game out of him. He's just going to play the same way, and he's going to work hard, and he's going to do things the right way. I rarely see him make those egregious mistakes. He does take penalties, and most of those are frustrated stick penalties where he's trying to defend his teammates or he's pushing guys around after the play. We saw him against McDavid where he took those kind of penalties. But I think he's a really consistent player. And what he did tonight, again, he gets a nice pass from Kesselring and Kesselring to Carconi to Bjugstad. And he's able to put it by Marc-Andre Fleury barring in. It was a really nice shot. I know I talk him on it a lot, and some of it's in jest, but he really does do things the right way. And I hope more people follow his example on this roster. And right now, they need a lot more guys on board this train to pull out of this.
All right, well, I'm going to drag us along here because the
positive vibes are
all right.
The vibes are low, but we will have great vibes at our takeover on Sunday, March 24th at the Four Peaks 8th Street Pub, because how can you have bad vibes there? At 3 p.m., we are meeting for a pregame party ahead of the Coyotes matchup against the Dallas Stars. Tickets are available for that. Tickets include food and drink, and there is just 1 ticket remaining for the takeover as well, which includes the pregame party ticket and the game ticket. But we would love to see everybody at Four Peaks on Sunday, the 24th at 3 p.m. It's going to be a blast. And of course, if you're a diehard, you get 20% off all events, including that one. So
can't wait.
Great
it's gonna be so much fun. We had so
diehard.
much fun at Four Peaks last time. I cannot wait.
So fun.
That's so much fun. And I would imagine we'll sit and talk about the game beforehand, have a couple of pops and some chicken tendies.
Chicken tendies could have a lot of stuff there. Underrated things there, like the French dip. You should try the French dip.
Flatbread pizza.
Flatbread pizza. My kids also tell me that the birria tacos are really good. So
which?
there's apparently a
Oh, the
lot of good
birria
things
tacos.
there.
Oh, really?
So I'm just saying, aside from the half dozen beers that I can choose between that I actually genuinely like, I don't have to say, okay, it's this one beer, or I have to choose between 17 IPAs.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And another great perk to becoming a diehard, Craig has a little question in Discord right now that's for diehards only. I won't even mention it.
Nope.
But if you're a diehard, it's in Discord. So if you're curious about that, you can become a diehard today. So you get access to our Discord. You also get access to diehard only content, 20% off merch, events, etc. Like I said. So become a diehard today. Join the family. Go phnx.com/diehard. I always talk about Prize Picks and how I love the purple interface, but I also love that they're always trying to give you money. So I got this email from Prize Picks today. Me too. And here's the deal. Here's the promotion for Pie Day. Your pick wins if James Harden gets 3.14 points. How about that? It's a free square with a slice of pie over at Prize Picks. So that's to celebrate Pie Day in a couple of days here. One of the great ways Prize Picks wants to give you money. They also want to give you money by doing a deposit match up to $100. So again, giving you money. Prize Picks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and it's super easy to win your money. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. It's just that easy. Go to prizepicks.com/PHNX and use code PHNX for first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/PHNX and use code PHNX. Pick more, pick less. It's just that easy.
And then go to Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You know why? Because no one does it better. And we talk a lot about the casino, the slot machines, the blackjack tables, the live table games. And not to mention Arizona's largest casino sportsbook. But we don't often talk about the resorts. At Wild Horse Pass, they have 446 beautifully designed rooms and suites that are AAA 4-diamond awarded. Time for a staycation here in Arizona with their Oasis-style pool and cabanas. Like, I can see Craig with the whole family at the cabanas.
What's an Oasis-style pool?
It's where you like walk into it. It's not like a. It's like a. It's like
I
more
love
of a
those.
beach
Yeah,
themed
they're
Oasis.
nice.
You know, it's
Nice.
you
I
can
like
walk
that.
into it.
Okay.
Cool. So like kind of a themed pool area.
Sure.
And do it before it gets too hot. So that would be now. It's perfect. The weather's perfect. And then you can check out their rooftop restaurant at Prime A Shula's Steakhouse. Head to Gila River Resorts and Casinos and let them show you what next level is all about. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit play at Gila.com for more details.
All right, it's time to talk about the dreaded too many men call. For the 11th time this season, the Arizona Coyotes take a too many men penalty. It's something that we've seen again and again and again. It is so beyond frustrating. So frustrating that André Tourigny has had to comment on it again and again. And before we get into the conversation, on March 5th, the Coyotes lost 5-2 to the Chicago Blackhawks. They, of course, took a too many men penalty then. And Craig asked Bear about it. This is from March 5th.
Yeah, I asked him how to explain it.
Yes. And here's Bear's response to that.
Too many men, it just keeps coming.
Stupidity. That's what it is. I think it's something we did address, and obviously we'll have to have accountability. I think it's on us, the coach, to make sure that doesn't happen again. I think there's the one last game. It's on us, the coach. There were miscue on the bench, but the one too many of the one, it's not paying attention to what's going on the ice.
So André Tourigny made it pretty clear after that game against Chicago that there was going to be accountability coming from the coaches. So what did we see tonight?
It's funny because we sat here and watched, oh my goodness, they did it again. They did it again. And what do we always do? Because that's what we like to do. Whose fault was that?
Yeah.
So what do we
like
do?
to assign blame.
We went to the film.
Yep.
And luckily enough, we can't show you highlights here because we don't have the copyrights to do so. But we can give you a Petey's Puck Talk, the Too Many Men on the Ice edition. And now it's time. So let's start, Danielle, to see what the hell happened and why this team continues to take too many men on the ice penalties. And you can see on the first slide, Leah so nicely was able to circle all 6 Coyotes. This isn't one where someone's almost at the bench and they're almost changing. Oh, the ref called it and he shouldn't have. This is a gray area. No, they're all 6 on the ice. So let's take a look at what happened. First slide, we have to go to the time and what's happening in the game. And what's happening in the game is the Coyotes are on a power play. When the Coyotes have a power play, they have 4 forwards and 1 defenseman. That's how they have their power plays. That's just it. That's it.
A lot of teams do that, right?
A lot of teams do that. Both of their units, the first and second power play unit, have 4 forwards, 1 defenseman. That means one of those forwards is assigned as a defenseman when he comes to the bench. The player on this group of 5 assigned to be the defenseman is Logan Cooley. Logan Cooley is a defenseman. So as you can see on the slide, Logan Cooley and J.J. Moser at the very, very end of the power play. 3, 2, 1, power play. This is it. Power play's over. They're going to the bench for a change. 2 defensemen. Logan Cooley, not usually a defenseman. They go to the bench. That's slide 1. Next slide. So 2 defensemen thinking they're jumping over the boards. Dermott, Brown, 2 defensemen. They're jumping over the boards. That makes sense for 2 defensemen coming. So go to the next slide. The problem is Jack McBain thinks that Logan Cooley is a center.
Okay.
Because Logan Cooley is a center.
So Jack McBain didn't think he was a defenseman.
He did not think Logan Cooley is a defenseman at this time. He's looking at the ice
going...
going...
a defenseman himself either, did he?
I don't think he did.
Just checking.
He doesn't play like one usually. So he's looking over the boards going, Logan Cooley's a center. I'm not really paying attention to what's going on in the game. So how about he's a center. I should go on the ice. Not being aware that Nick Bjugstad is also on the ice, who is actually the center of this grouping. So when Jack McBain sees Logan Cooley coming to the bench, he's thinking he's a centerman. I'm going to jump on the bench as well. And you end up with 6 players on the ice. Now, whose fault is that? You can clearly see whose fault that was. Because within seconds, the coach is having a word with Number 22 on the ice and pointing, you get to go serve the penalty since you're the one that jumped out on the ice. So we could see Jack McBain going from the penalty box or from the ice to the penalty box. And the last time his feet touched the ice was once that penalty was over and he skated around for a few seconds and went back to the bench. And then he did not touch the ice.
A total of 3 minutes and 33 seconds of ice time for Jack McBain, who entered this game, what? On a 6-game point streak, was it?
Yeah, he's a 6-game point streak against the Wild.
Yeah. Where did he come? Where did the Coyotes get him?
The Minnesota Wild.
That's right. So you'd think this would be a game where he might want to show something. Well, he really didn't get much of an opportunity in 33 of ice time because, as you mentioned, he wasn't paying attention. And as we've said many times, it's on the players to know whether they're going out or not, who they're replacing. It's on the players, 100%. They know their assignments. Accountability, when it happens over and over again, that's the coach. And what happened tonight? André Tourigny said after the last time this happened, there's going to be accountability from us, the coaches, because it's happened too often. Next game, bang, Jack McBain sits for the rest of the game.
I've got to say, kudos to André Tourigny here.
Yep.
That is hard to do, especially to a player that plays the amount of minutes that Jack McBain plays for this team and the role he plays. You talked about him in his coming back to Minnesota, a team that had drafted him. All of those things, his point streak, he's an effective player on the ice. They need Jack McBain. They do. He's an effective player for this team. To be able to look as a coach and go, okay, that is more important right now than what's happening on the ice there. This lesson to the group, this lesson to the guys on the bench is much more important than the game itself. And that's when a coach can do that, I'm impressed because that takes guts. It's hard to do.
It sure is.
And he stuck to his guns. And I guess what? I would think, and here's two thoughts. One, I bet you that guys will be more aware on the bench. Especially for this team, seems to do it a lot at the end of penalty kills and at the end of power plays. They seem to have difficulties in this. They seem to have difficulties at the end of special team situations or when they play 11-7. So I bet you guys on the bench are more aware. The concern to me now is if the next time it happens, it's Clayton Keller.
Mm-hmm.
And Clayton Keller has been the responsible party before. He has. We've seen it. But especially in the 11-7 where he's double shifting. Next time it's Clayton Keller, you have to do the same thing.
You do, because you can't have a double standard.
And that's when it gets really hard.
Yep.
And Bobby Francis, and I know that's going way back in the Coyotes lore. Bobby Francis, he coached the players like Tkachuk and Ronak and that group of players. He would bench Keith Tkachuk. And he was, and I'll say this, and this includes Dave Tippett. I'll put Bobby Francis as the best bench coach this team's ever had. Because the accountability he assessed to players immediately when it happened. There was no waiting a next game or between intermission. It's now. I don't care who it is or what it is. You play the right way or you don't play. And that's incredibly hard to do with personalities like that. So for Bear, good on him. Good on him. Because that's really hard to do. But now that you've set the standard, you have to keep the standard. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm curious to see how Jack McBain comes out and what he says, if anything, about this.
I don't want to go so far as to call this growth for André Tourigny because I'm not familiar with what he was like when he was in the Q or the O. But this is something you need to do as an NHL coach. You need to have this sort of accountability. So I agree with you 100%.
You can't say it in the press conference and then not show it behind the bench. And he said it. He said it a week. It was 1 week ago today. He said it. Put his money where his mouth is. He stood by his gun. So I'm really impressed with that. And does that make a difference in the outcome of this game? Jack McBain missing ice time? Probably not, because the you just got the guys that got more ice time were Keller and Cooley. Like those two got a lot more ice time. They double shifted a lot. So I don't think it's like, oh, they lost the game because Jack McBain was on the ice. I don't believe that.
But it's a lesson. And let's pay attention now for the final 16 games of the season and see if they take another one of these penalties.
Yep.
That'll be the real measure.
Yeah, but 11 too many men on the ice calls already. A lot of fans, criticizing the coaching. So, he definitely put his money where his mouth is. And something we were talking about when it happened was how important communication on the bench is. Because I had tweeted, like, how does this keep happening? And Jason Demers actually replied. He said, better communication by coaching staff and the players on the bench. More talk means less guessing.
Yeah, I know we talked about that too. And when the first line of communication starts with the coaches to the players, because who knows who's up next? Well, the coach does, and who's ever coach running that part of the bench. So Mario Duhamel runs the defense. So the defensemen know who's going up next. Mario has to tell him.
Yeah,
Brownie, you're up next. You guys are up next. And that's how they knew who's up next. So the next part that needs to happen in this particular example, some of it relies on, so McBain's got to know.
Yeah.
These guys are coming up. And it's, especially in a situation like this, the communication between the bench is, I'm telling you, they're yelling out, Cooley's a D, Cooley's D. I'm telling you they are. And as Cooley's coming to the bench, he really needs to be saying D. He really does. He needs to be yelling D, D, D. Because in that situation, he has to be aware that he's going in for a D too. So I think the communication is the key to all of this.
Yeah.
From the coach to the players on the bench. And then the players on the bench, when you sit on an NHL bench, the amount of talk that's going on the bench that has nothing to do with the ice is all about the line change. I got him, and the two guys will sit there on the winger. I got this guy, on penalty kills and power plays specifically, because you're not assigned to there's two penalty killers and they're both forwards. I've got him. When Richardson's come, I got him. And so they know. Like, it's between those two players. You two are up next, but the two players decide, especially in a penalty kill situation or a power play situation, who's going out. Has to be communication, and clearly there isn't enough, because Jack McBain was lost. And as soon as he jumps on the ice, the defenseman, why am I having just a total brain fog? 33. Why can't I think? Left hand?
Dermott. Travis Dermott, yeah.
Sorry, I want to say Demers because we just said Demers. So Dermott, you could see him pointing right away, like to McBain to get off the ice. Like, he knew there was a mistake right away, and he knew that McBain jumped on and he shouldn't have. But instead, Dermott points to McBain. McBain doesn't see him, so Dermott jumps off the ice. So it looks like it's Dermott's fault, but in fact, it was clearly Jack McBain's.
I find all that stuff really interesting as someone who's never played hockey, like just what goes on the bench.
But it's you know what's funny, Leah? One of the things that was my come to the NHL moment is the same things that you do when you're 9, 10, and 11 on the bench, you need to do when you're in the NHL on the bench. As far as the communication on line changes, because the confusion that you have when you're a peewee are the same things that we're seeing here in the NHL, and that's why the communication is so important. And there's a communication breakdown somewhere, and clearly today we saw that it was with the player.
Well, thanks for that breakdown, Petey. One thing that we can communicate to everybody is that you got to be part of the inner circle for Circle K. I feel like we've effectively communicated that show after show.
I think we've also effectively communicated
stay
the hell away from my snacks. Yeah, my Circle K snacks. Yeah.
If it says my name on it, it's not communal. If it's on my desk, it's not communal. If it's in a bin titled Coyotes, it's not communal. But what is communal is the savings that Circle K gives you when you sign up for the Inner Circle program. Saves 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. It's so easy. You sign up, and then the next time you go to the pump, you put in your phone number, and it says you've saved. You also save 3 cents per gallon every day, and you also get a ton of free chips, drinks every day on the Circle K app. They're giving something away. So join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. See CircleK.com for details.
Not Royd's just rage is right. The Chicago Blackhawks are on a little bit of a heater.
They are.
He's coming here. He thinks we're going to get mad at a team winning 2 that's trying to chase us for the... Buddy, win the next 15. Good luck to the Blackhawks. Get on a streak. Nothing would make us happier except if we were to win the Arizona Lottery. Check out the Arizona Lottery's new ticket and promotion called Arizona Adventure. There are 3 ways to play and win. Scratch the Arizona Adventure Lottery tickets featuring 3 iconic landscapes. That's 1. 2, you can check in at geolocated adventures at 10 destinations across the state from Flagstaff to Yuma. Or you can enter those tickets online for a chance to win $1 million in cash and Arizona travel prizes. The Arizona Lottery is not just about playing games and winning prizes. It is also about giving back to the state and its communities. Visit azadventure.com for more information on how you can take adventure for a chance to win $1 million in cash in Arizona travel prizes.
Well, speaking of the Blackhawks, I think we should look at the upside down standings at this point.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because for as much doom and gloom as we just talked about for the first 20 minutes of the show and how frustrating this is, there is a silver lining, and that is that the Coyotes continue to slide down the standings. They find themselves just 1 point away from the Ottawa Senators, who won tonight. Thank you, Ottawa. And just 3 points away from the Columbus Blue Jackets.
They lost Montreal, but you needed Montreal to win too, honestly, to get some breathing room. So that's okay. Columbus, go win somewhere else. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fine.
Fourth place. Fourth place is within reach. The fourth worst record. It's crazy to say, but it's within reach.
And it's funny when you're talking about playoffs and you look at teams that are in that 8 to 13 and how hard it is to climb, because if you win four out of 5, well, the people you're chasing go 3-1-1 and you made up 1 point and you go on a big streak. It's a kind of the same thing here when you're losing, is everybody's losing. But when you look at that bottom grouping from 27th or even 26th down to 32nd, who is the clear-cut loser? Buddy, Kachina. They haven't won a game in their last 10, like 0. That's what it says. 0-9-1, lost 6. Like that. Is that right? That can't be right.
Well, they beat the Red Wings.
Oh, they beat the Red. I'm sorry.
But they haven't really been winning.
Yeah, so they've been sliding.
They're 3-6-1 in their last.
We
10,
just talked about how they've lost 24 of their 31 games in 2000.
Yeah, but San Jose's won 5 now.
Yeah.
Anaheim's won 5 of their last 10. Ottawa's won 6 of their last 10. Buddy, it's going the right direction.
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough time to catch Anaheim, but they can catch Ottawa and Columbus. Like, I think 4th is well within reach.
I will say this. Columbus is now within 4 points. I'm telling you, Arizona's got a tough schedule. Anaheim right now, Anaheim is 5-4-1 in their last 10. And it's 8 points over 16 games. Doable?
We'll see.
By the way, No Roids said much love from CHGO. We appreciate you, No Roids.
You know
I know
what the problem is, Craig?
You're just poking fun.
What are you looking at?
My stats keep pulling up February 22nd.
I was wondering what you were looking at, because Anaheim is 3-6-1 in its last 10.
So why is it saying February 22nd?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Can I get it to the right goddamn day?
None of these teams is playing particularly well, but Ottawa has 3 games in hand on the Coyotes, and they're only a point back. So that's good. Columbus has a game in hand. They're only 3 points back. So there's a possibility here.
That 4th spot would be great, because the lowest you can pick is 6th. And in this draft, and we're actually going to talk more about prospects and draft stuff tomorrow on tomorrow's show at 2 p.m. But you want to be in that top grouping, because this is not the depth of draft that we saw in 2023, but there are some really elite, talented players at the top. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow.
Yeah, but now that I've got the right day on my standings, I had February 22nd up, which is not the correct day. But now that I do have the right day up, you're right. When you look at Ottawa of games in hand, you look at Columbus, 1 game in hand, and that's enough. That 1 game in hand is going to be enough.
Yeah.
That I think they can catch them.
I do too. I like both of those teams. I think it's possible that the Coyotes will slide below them. Yeah. So if you're sitting 4,
Anaheim's a pipe dream.
You're getting a good player. You're not. Let's forget. Let's not even talk about Macklin celebrating, because
Chicago's
this is a Coyote show. The Coyotes
Chicago will get him if he's still in the show.
Probably.
But you're getting a good player at 4.
Yeah, you're probably going to get a really good defenseman. Probably going to get a really good defenseman. In my opinion, you can never have enough. But like, I feel like they need one more really high-end defenseman. This could complete their pipeline there. And I got to tell you, and we're going to talk about this later, but I was talking to Charlie McTavish, their goaltending development coach. This crop of goalies that they got this year, this past draft, they're really excited about all 3 of them. So you could look to like solidify your blue line, solidify your goaltending, and then one more draft, maybe you can get that center that you need, and then you start looking at the system and
Craig,
saying,
you've been talking about that center for ever since the day we started the show. You've been talking about that center, and they just haven't got it. But at number 4, this is a very defenseman deep draft, and we're going to talk more about that between now and the end of June. This gives them an opportunity. They got defensemen in last year's draft. You got Maverick Lamoureux in the pipeline. You can't win in this league without a good defensive core. I've said it over and over again. The teams that win spend money on defense, they have good defense, and they defend first. That's what this is going to allow them to do. Gets another big stud defenseman at 4.
Well, let's run a simulation, shall we? Because
is it that time?
I think Chad said he won on the first try.
Who said?
Chad in the chat. Craig and I have had some luck doing our simulations. You know, right now the place that the Coyotes are in, they have the 5th worst odds on here.
Yeah, okay.
So, Danielle, let's pull up our little simulation. Just got to open Chrome. Take a look at our folders there. All right, Danielle, let's simulate the lottery. All right, the Coyotes drop to 6th. Columbus jumps up and wins. Montreal 2nd.
Chicago
jumps up
drops to 4.
5 places. San
That'd be
Jose.
okay with me.
I'd rather the Coyotes drop 1 if the Blackhawks drop 3. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
They
So
jumped
this
2. But
Schadenfreude, yeah. Yeah, I like that too. Actually, raised in Chicago, and this is where I am now. Angry with that franchise. Anyway.
Okay, so not our best spin of all time, but it not our worst. See, the one I just did on my computer, Chicago won, Buffalo moved up 6 spots to 2, and Arizona dropped 1. So the one we did was
Sean Paz would be happy.
Yeah.
Is he ever happy?
Buffalo's in year 30 of the rebuild.
Yeah, how's that going?
Sorry, buddy.
They won today?
Yeah. They're going to have a nice little run here to just miss the playoffs again.
I'm still upset that I was pulling up February 22nd 3 different times. And every time I refreshed my thing, it still said February 22nd.
Yeah, the right year.
Like, how could I have I know how it happened.
Okay.
All right. Well, Roaring Fork was mentioning the only winnable games he sees left are Detroit right now, New Jersey, Columbus, and San Jose. Let's take a look at the Coyotes' upcoming schedule very quickly. We know they're headed to Detroit for Thursday's game, and then it's home against the Devils. That's, 2 teams coming up desperate, like you mentioned at the start.
Yeah. I want to talk about this schedule again.
Yeah, again.
They're coming off this road trip. They come home for 1 game, then they go back on the road to play Dallas. And then they come back.
Craig, I got a question because you know a lot about time zones. I recall your speech.
Mm-hmm.
What time zone is Detroit located
in? Eastern time zone. So they fly back from the Eastern time zone. They have 1 day in between games again. And what do? They play a matinee against the New Jersey Devils. Welcome to Coyote scheduling. This is what the NHL does to them every damn season. Somebody needs to pound the table and say this can't happen because that's bad scheduling. Then they go back on the road for Dallas.
Back to the Central time zone.
Again, I realize that arena availability plays into this, other team schedules, but flag certain things and see if you can fix it. Really? You couldn't put that Dallas game at the end of the road trip and then just have them come home for the homestand? You're going to bring them back for 1 game with less than 2 days rest, right? Less than 2 days rest. Make them play a matinee, then, go back out on the road. So stupid. It's such bad scheduling.
New Jersey will be in Dallas, which is in the Central time zone with a much shorter flight the same day that the Coyotes are playing against Detroit. So New Jersey will be here in their hotel beds and resting by the time the Coyotes land from Detroit. Again, it's not fair. And so when you look at wins on the schedule, I don't see a win against New Jersey. I don't see a win on that matinee game. I just don't. I don't know when this team's getting their wins.
And by the way, that when they finally come back and play Seattle, that's the start of a 7-game homestand, a season high 7-game homestand. When they finish that homestand on April 5th against the Vegas Golden Knights, they have 1 home game left after that.
Wow.
The final game of the season against the Edmonton Oilers.
Ooh.
Wow.
And here's the problem with it. This is it's unfortunate because if this is a team that's fighting for a playoff spot, when you go on the 5-year last 6 are on the road, and that includes a Western Canadian road trip. Exactly. Ouch! Like this schedule does not bode well for if they were to bet, but they're clearly not. So they're fine.
All right. Well, let's highlight a few positives, and one of those, we'll run through a couple quick few. First of all, Coyotes prospect Connor Geekie had a 4-point night for the Swift Current Broncos, including 2 goals. The Tucson Roadrunners are currently up 4-0 in the third period over the Henderson Silver Knights. And today we learned that Tanner Lutke, a Coyotes 3rd-round pick from the 2023 draft, was named to the 2023-24 NCHC All-Rookie Team. So congrats to Tanner Lutke. And it's great when we feel the doom and gloom of some moments and running lottery simulations and frustrations over too many men penalties that we can look to the future.
Yeah, and I like thinking about the players that we'll be able to see. A bunch of these guys came through this year anyway. Jonathan Castagna, Tanner Lutke was here. Mikko Matika was here, and I still need to figure out which is the correct pronunciation of his name. I will not believe anyone until I ask him. The NCHC is going to be ASU's conference as of next season. So Tanner Lutke will be here. Carson Musser, goaltender, will be at Colorado College next season. Mikko will be back again. It's cool to see all these prospects coming through, as part of college teams. You get to see them live. It's really exciting to me. And that makes me think about my prospect report, which is coming Friday for diehards only. I'm featuring 3 players, as always. Carson Musser is one of those guys. Charlie McTavish just got a chance to see him play for the Madison Capitals. I think he had 44 saves in a 3-2 win, and I think he's second right now in the USHL in save percentage and goals against average.
Wow.
So he's having a hell of a season. Like I said, he'll be at CC next season. But I'm also going to take a look at Vadim Moroz and Sam Lipkin, our buddy Sam Lipkin at Quinnipiac, who's getting ready to try and defend their national championship as the NCAA tournament gets rolling.
Awesome.
I just want to get to I'm thrilled about the prospect report. I'm thrilled about all these prospects. I want to get to the point where these guys are here.
I know.
I really do, because I know this pipeline is the future is bright, but God dang it, it's a long way away.
I know there's not a lot. Yeah, there's not a lot to look forward to the rest of the season. Like I do think Josh Doan's going to get recalled. I think we're going to see Josh Doan in a Coyotes jersey at Mullet, probably during that long homestand. And when you think about those prospects, I think next season at the very least, we're going to see a bunch of those guys down in Tucson. Tucson's going to have a bunch of prospects next season that are really intriguing guys. So it'll be worth going down the I-10 a little bit more than we did this season.
And speaking of the I-10, I think we needed to talk about John Leonard just briefly, that he got his debut with the Coyotes today. Yeah. Not his debut in the NHL, but his debut with the Coyotes. We say this often about guys that are making their first appearance with this team. Too difficult to evaluate today.
Yeah,
he was a tough situation when one of your line mates is a guy that's been benched for the remainder of the game. So I think he and O'Brien suffered because of that a little bit. So you really saw Leonard's ice time. He dropped just over 5 minutes. By the way, that is Craig Morgan in the pool. He had 5 to 6 minutes. Lee had 6 to 7. I had 7 and above. So Craig wins that. This is
what we
pool.
do to entertain ourselves.
So he had just over 5 minutes ice time, 2 shot attempts. I don't know what to say. He skated fine, moves well enough. That's it.
He's a call up, right? He's a nice AHL
emergency
player.
call up because Hayton was.
He's gonna help the Roadrunners in the playoffs.
Yes.
So,
and he's been a key player down there.
He has,
and he's played a lot of times with Josh Doan, and so look for him down there, and we'll be down there when the playoffs get going.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, well, let's wrap things up. We'll take a look at the punch card, which at this point...
Petey's report card, let's just call it what it is.
Petey's report card, which has just turned into a lot of X's. If you just squint at it, it's kind of crazy to see what's happened recently.
It's a whole lot of red.
My gosh.
It's a lot
It is
red.
Amazing. Like, it literally starts at that game 40, 45. It was a win. 44 and 45 is a win, and starting with game 46, the wheels fell off.
Crazy.
It's insane. Look at how bad that is. Like over those last 2.5 lines, that's insane. CWP, get on that. Figure out what the voodoo magic is on the punch card. It's hard. This team is going through a really hard time right now. It's really hard. You got 2 wins in the last 10, and it's hard.
Petey, do you celebrate Taco Tuesday?
I did celebrate Taco Tuesday.
What'd you have tonight?
I went with a bowl. I went with a bowl with chicken, Mexican chicken. And
I had Al Pastor quesadilla tonight. That was it was money.
Yeah, so
Danielle, did you celebrate Taco Tuesday tonight?
I didn't tonight, but being PHNX's resident Mexican, I don't feel the need to.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I celebrated pretty much every day.
She does almost every day.
Yeah, you do what you want. That's fair.
Leah. I have Mexican food 4 to 5 times a week.
Leah, how did you celebrate Taco Tuesday?
I had sushi.
Okay. I really don't know what to say to that.
We try so hard.
I don't know what to say to that.
You guys have been bullying me about this all night, but that's because there's not a Sombreros walking distance from our office.
If there were, you would.
If there were, I would have. Danielle and I...
There is one from my house, though.
Okay.
I can say that.
Amaze. And Danielle and I have been talking about, on one of our weekend games, like bringing a Sombreros feast for all of us here. So that's going to happen soon. And right now, Sombreros is offering PHNX listeners 20% off their orders for the entire month of March. So that's something you're definitely going to want to take advantage of. I promise you. Just because I didn't have it today, it doesn't mean I won't have it this week, because I want to take advantage of that 20% off and just how good Sombreros is.
There's a promo code, isn't there?
There is.
It was created the day after I went to Sombreros because,
that's how life works.
That's how life works, yeah. But let me guess that promo code. Is it PHNX?
It is, Craig. That's a great guess.
Shocking.
20% off your order of up to $100 when you use code PHNX at checkout for the whole month of March. Available in restaurant, drive-thru, and when you order online, not available on third-party delivery. Visit Sombreros.com.
Craig, you can always just be like me and go multiple times a week.
Yeah, Danielle literally does. Like, that is not an exaggeration.
After trying the mini chimneys for the first time, I could definitely go multiple times a week. They're insane. They're insane. They're
now
so good.
Now I want it.
I used to be able to go multiple times a week. Now I'm in my 50s.
And the red was The red was the wreck. That
Four
was
Peaks.
solid wreck.
Four Peaks is the official beer of PHNX. Sports aren't the same without a Four Peaks in hand. They're the official beer sponsor of Gerald's wedding coming up, and they're the very special beer sponsor to the party of the year for the PHNX staff.
Mm-hmm.
Craig's St. Patrick's
Bigger than
Day
Gerald's wedding.
party. It's bigger than
It's
Gerald's
not the
wedding.
biggest PHNX party that weekend. It is not Gerald's wedding.
No, it's not. It's Craig's St. Patrick's Day party. And with so many different beer tastes within the PHNX crew, we are so lucky Four Peaks has a beer to match anyone's taste, even Craig's. I'm a kilt lifter, Leah's a peach, and Craig, wow.
Well,
or a pumpkin porter.
Or oatmeal stout. Or
Really?
and there's so many choices. Seriously, there are 6 beers. I could make a 6-pack of beers that I love
Which
from
you
Four
can,
Peaks.
because sometimes
Yes,
at
you
grocery
can.
stores you can
Thanks,
do that.
Caleb.
Yes, you can.
I appreciate you catching that, Caleb. Visit fourpeaks.com/locator. Find all your favorite beers and events. Check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest in Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks. Please enjoy responsibly.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'm really upset.
Okay.
No, that stats thing bothers
At
me.
Leah about the Taco
No, there's
Tuesday
just the
thing?
stats thing.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I come on the show like I want to pretend I know things, and a lot of it is pretending. But I want to, and then I read the same goddamn thing wrong 3 times, like it's true fact. No, I don't like. I'm very unhappy with myself.
This could become a thing.
I'm not happy.
We
I've
should
already
just
corrected the
fudge
mistake.
stats.
I saved my bookmarks for this show. It's called PHNX Bookmarks, and I open all the tabs
For
at
the
the same
next
time,
post-game show.
and it opens it up to February 22nd.
All right. For
So
the
I've changed
post-game
it.
show for February 22nd against the...
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna fudge the stats, and I'll be like, Petey, can you read the stats? And then
Yeah.
you'll read them. I'll be like, oh,
No.
actually, that was wrong.
So close, they're wrong. So I apologize to everyone. 'Cause
Anything
I'm so
to keep
sorry.
ourselves entertained through the
So sorry.
final 16 games of this Coyotes.
I do say this too. I think the Wheel of Fantasy should make a return visit because there's
100%.
so many people that don't even know what it is or
Yeah.
how it works.
And we have another idea we're working on, but we're not going to tell you right
We
now.
do?
We do. You mentioned it at the start. I think it was Leah that mentioned it, actually, that you said you were going to steal the idea.
Okay.
That's how,
that
That's
idea.
how Petey comes up with his ideas.
No,
by
I
the
love
way.
that idea.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it. Love that idea.
Yeah.
We're going to start that as soon as the next show.
We should.
But that means somebody's going to have to work and build a graphic and all that.
Okay.
But for the Wheel of Fantasy, we had a graphic.
We
It was
have-
even a moving
I
graphic.
have it. It's fine. It'll
And
make
if
it
you
up.
don't know what the Wheel of Fantasy is, it is time.
It
It's
is time.
It's time.
If they-
We'll have to
let's
bring that
pull it out
back.
against
If they
Detroit.
lose to Detroit, we'll bring it back.
We will bring
100%.
it back.
That's our promise. That's our
That's a-
PHNX guarantee.
Our PHNX game. We will see. And as I used to say, the Wheel of Fantasy is not a toy in Craig's bedroom. It is an actual prop that we use to explain losing and wishing better things for the Arizona Coyotes.
Gosh dang it. All right, let's wrap up. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching, for tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up on this video before you head out, whether you're watching live or later. If you're listening on audio, leave us a 5-star review and make sure you subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss our weekly audio only episodes as well. And all of these shows are on audio in addition.
Petey's never been in my bedroom, by the way. Just want to make that
Actually,
clear.
it's not true.
Okay.
The party, we got a tour.
Yeah, you probably did, actually. Okay.
I did. All right. Beautiful home. He's got a beautiful home.
It's just in New Mexico, but that's
It
fine.
is a long way away.
All right. You can follow us on Twitter at @SpeedersHockey, at Leah Merrill, at Craig S. Morgan, at Abrica Danielle. You can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. Join us live tomorrow at 2 p.m. We're going to talk prospects. We're going to talk about the future. So hopefully it'll be a little bit less grumpy and a little more cheerful then. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. And we will see you all tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.